There are four powerful email flows and no one is talking about them. Why? I don't know. Probably because their impact is underrated, but that assumption is wrong. And today I'm going to share with you why that is and why you should have them. You see, a lot of e-commerce brands, they don't really look at reports that show long-term impact. That's also because it usually is difficult to measure. So that makes them focused on reports that show short-term impact. And I can understand that, because why would you focus on something that could have a good impact later down the road, while there are a lot of things that you can do also to move the needle right now? Well, the thing is, and why I also recommend you to have these flows, is because they don't require a lot of work. You only have to set them up once and then it can do the work for you. So it is actually a good thing to work on these flows, because a lot of brands, they don't have them, or they just have touched a bit of the surface, they scraped a bit of the surface and they don't utilize its full power, and therefore they will actually be more powerful for you. And in this particular case, it will increase to more customer satisfaction, more loyalty, and therefore also a better retention. And that's also very important when you're having an online store, because that will lead to more sales. But before I'm going to go over these flows for you and how they can transform your business, if you're new here, I'm Marc Uitterhoeve and I'm the CEO of the Extra Agency. For the last 8 years, we've been working with e-commerce brands to increase their online revenue. And we focused a lot on the website, but also on the emails that they can have and they can need to utilize in order to grow their store and their retention. And it has generated millions of dollars for our clients to date. All right, so let's jump straight into it. The first flow that you really need to set up is the post-purchase flow. Now, I'm not talking here about giving shipping updates and order confirmation, etc. I'm talking here about actually extending your service after people have bought your product. What usually happens is that there's a lot of importance and a lot of focus placed on getting that customer to buy. And that makes only sense because you are spending a lot of effort and a lot of money as well in order to attract people, and you need to make sure, you want to make sure that they actually are going to buy your product or service. But what happens is, usually when that's done, then okay, money's in the pocket, let's go for the next person. While you actually should also focus on what happens next, especially since it usually doesn't require a lot of time and effort and money in order to set this up. So when someone actually buys from you, then it's good to send out this post-purchase flow. It triggers after someone buys the product. And what you can do is you can send a series of emails which touch upon the different things and issues that people can encounter. Now, one of the emails that you can send out when someone buys from you is to ask for a review. This is also a more common thing to happen because it's very important to have product reviews. It will really help other people to convert. But what you can also do is ask feedback. How was your shopping experience? If you ask a couple of questions about the experience that people had on your website, you also know what almost stopped them from buying. So you need to improve that, but also what they actually use it for or why they were going to buy it, because you can use that in your communication or in your ads, because you can tap into those needs that people have. It really helps you to discover opportunities and bottlenecks. Now, you might wonder, how can I get feedback or reviews? You can always give an incentive. And it doesn't have to be a big incentive to everyone. You can also, for example, say, hey, you can win an Amazon voucher, for example. So something that you only have to give once every month, and you can do a bit of a raffle. And people will be incentivized to actually leave a review or to fill in that survey that you're going to send out to give that feedback. Now, be sure when you are giving incentives with reviews that you also tell them that they have to be honest, because what you don't want is to create an illusion that you're going to give people something in order for a good review. You don't want to be buying good reviews. And what you can do as well is point to your socials. So if you're active on your socials, then you can tell them, you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and you can also showcase some things that you share there. Maybe you'll do exclusive promotions there, or people can have some helpful tips when they follow you on social, a good reason for them to follow you there and increase your following on your socials. Now, oftentimes you'll see that these three are happening. And what I think people can really, and brands can really make a difference, is to offer help. This is not really done enough. If someone buys from you a product which is complex, you can send them a manual or installation instructions, or how to best use the product, or even how to make the best use out of the product. But what you also can do is, for example, share maintenance tips. If someone sells furniture or clothing, you can send them tips on how to best take care of their purchase. They will really appreciate that. Or how to take the best care of the product, what you need to do in order to make sure it lasts for a very long time. So this is something that is really not done a lot. And even if you're selling supplements, for example, or consumables, you can also tell them when it's best to take them, or when it's like how you need to heat up a certain consumable or things like that. Yes, that information might be on your site, but people also can have skipped that information. Not everyone reads everything fully. And you can just send a nice email reminding them how to best use your product or how they can get the most out of it. Another option, and it really ties back also in help, is to give people tips. So if I am buying from you a weight loss product, it would be great if you also send me tips on how to lose weight besides using your product. So that you can do with some exercises that you can do, but also some tips on how to make good, healthy meals, things that you can actually provide your customers with that can also help to achieve their goal. Another example is, for example, if you sell something to energize people or to make them more productive, you can maybe sell a certain drink that helps people to be more focused and productive, but you can also share tips what they can do outside of it in order to structure their life or to organize their desk in a certain way that they can be more productive. Again, where help is more about the product that they bought, the tips are more about what you can do outside of that. And of course, what you can do as well in this flow is ask people if they are stuck. You can combine it as well with, for example, tips or maintenance. You don't have to send a separate email, but it's best if each email has only one core message, because otherwise people reply to one thing and not to the other, or people only really internalize one of the things you send them. So you can just chop it up in different messages and just easily say, hey, especially if you sell a complex product, just checking in after a week, for example, how are you doing? Do you have any issues with the product? Because what will happen as well is if you do this even before you're going to send out this review request, if you have these help tips and you ask them if everything is all right, the chance that you get a positive review is much, much higher. So be sure that you also help people with that service in order to get the most out of your product. This post-purchase survey is probably one of the most important flows that you can send out. Now, where your post-purchase flow really helps to improve that customer satisfaction, there's another flow that can really increase customer loyalty, and that is the VIP flow. With this VIP flow, you're going to acknowledge to people, to your customers, that they are a VIP. This is super important because this will improve your likability. If someone places 5 orders or spend a certain amount of money with you, they are a very important person to you. And just acknowledging that, thanking them for their trust in you, will really create some likability, and that will pay off later down the line. And for you, it just, it's just one email that you need to trigger when someone spends a certain amount or buys a couple of times. It's very easy, and it will really set the mood, and you will really increase your likability. Another thing that you can do is, for example, involve them with polls. If you are going to create a new product or you are creating a new flavor, you can ask them what kind of flavor they would like. Now, if you're afraid that people will come up with very, very weird flavors or stupid names, you can also just present them with options. And you give them just 3 options and they can choose one. What this will create is that people will feel involved with the brand. They feel like you take them seriously, and therefore it will increase the loyalty because they actually feel like they can make a difference compared to other brands who won't involve them as much, and therefore they are more likely to come back to you whenever they need your product again. A bit related to this is to ask again for feedback, and like different from the post-purchase flow, what you can do here is to do a more in-depth one, because these are your VIPs, you treated them well and they are more likely to return the favor. You can ask them a lot of questions that they will happily fill out for you. And what is very important in this part is that you're going to let them know what you did with the feedback. For example, if, I don't know, in the survey, a lot of people actually tell you that the customer support is taking very long to get back to them, you can afterwards, if you improve that, which then you should, you can let them know, hey, we listened to you, we took it seriously, we hired X amount of people extra, or we restructured certain things, or we added this new software that will help you a lot better, or we're faster with our responses. So this is something very important because it feels like they will know that they are being heard and that you again take them seriously, and that will definitely increase customer loyalty. Another thing that you can do with the VIP flow is to use the early bird incentives. So if someone is a VIP, what you can do is you can give them prior access to sales, or they can buy the new product that you're launching first. so that they have some perks and benefits. They can get maybe a higher discount. Everyone gets 10%, they get 15%. Remember, these are VIPs. They already have spent a lot of money with you, so you need to reward them as well in order for them to feel appreciated and to stay loyal to you, because once they're a VIP, they're also more likely to actually stay and buy more, and their lifetime value will only increase. So you can also give a bit more of a discount. So this is very important for your brand in order to increase that customer loyalty. Now, the third flow that I'm going to highlight is the win back flow. And the win back flow is also important because it helps you to reactivate customers that have been silent for a while, especially if they have been VIPs before. What this does is you send an email to your audience or to your customers when they have been inactive for quite a while. If people buy from you on average every 3 months, then after 4 months, you can reach out to them and say, hey, this is what happened in the meantime while you're away, or you can give them a discount to nudge them to buy again. But besides that, what you can also do is you can ask them why they left or why they haven't bought from you again. What has changed in their situation? Maybe they already achieved their goal. Maybe they simply moved to a different competitor because they had another benefit that you didn't have. That is really good to know what you would need to change, or what you can do in order to counter that. It's good for you to have that information so you know what you can do in order to prevent people from leaving again in the future. With this flow, you really try to get them back on the horse and for them to buy again. But if that's not possible, at least try to learn from why they have left you, and make sure to see how often people usually buy. It can be that in your case, you sell washing machines and you only sell washing machines, then people are not very likely to buy again in the very near future. And then maybe the delay would be 5 to 10 years. But for most brands, you can set at least the trigger after a year or something, or shorter, in order to see if you can again re-engage your customer, because they are already in your CRM. So you're not paying money to acquire them via ads, etc. So it's very cheap to reach out to them and try to get them active again, because if they then buy, that is also good for your profitability. Now, the last flow that I'm going to discuss here is the sunset flow. And if you haven't heard of the sunset flow yet, it is because it is the least sexy one, because it is not directly related to revenue. And that's why you don't hear a lot about it. But that is actually also a misconception, because this will actually help you to have a better and healthier list and therefore get more revenue. What the sunset flow does, it actually actively unsubscribes the people from your list. Now, this might seem very counterintuitive, because everywhere you hear it's good to have a big list. So why would you unsubscribe people yourself? The reason for this is you want to create a healthy list. If you have a lot of people on your list that don't open your emails, or they actually mark you as spam, or they unsubscribe, it lowers your score in the email providers, and therefore you are also less likely to end up in the inbox. So you need to make sure that you're only sending emails to people that are actually interested and engaged. And it also makes sense, because it doesn't matter if people unsubscribe if they are not interested in you anymore. Why would you need to be in an inbox of someone that doesn't want to buy anymore? So just embrace that people can unsubscribe and can leave your list. It's fine. You only want to have people there that actually are interested. Why would you want to have a birthday party with people that don't care about you, right? So you need a healthy list. And what will happen is, if those people are unsubscribed, you will have good open and click rates. And when that happens, it will mean that your deliverability improves, because this is all being calculated and this is all captured by the email software and providers. So if people are opening your emails and if they click through, that means that people are actually wanting your emails, and therefore you won't be filtered out as much and you won't end up in spam or in the promotions folder as much. What also will happen is, if you actively unsubscribe people that aren't interacting anymore, your unsubscribe rate will go down and your spam complaints will also go down, again leading to better deliverability. So this is very important for your list and for your success in email marketing. Now, another benefit is money. For a lot of tools, you actually need to pay for the number of subscribers that you have, or the number of emails that you send out. So if you're going to email to a lot of people that aren't even interested in your product or in your emails, you're just paying for people that are not even interacting. So it's best to unsubscribe them, and it will also lower your cost. So if your deliverability goes up because fewer people unsubscribe, fewer people put you in spam, your open and click rates are higher because you're only emailing to engage people. What will happen is that your deliverability again goes up, and therefore you are more likely to make more sales because you are less likely to end in people's spam folder, in the promotions folder, and therefore you will be seen by more of your audience. So even if it might feel like a smaller list will generate less sales, it actually is the opposite. If you are removing the right kind of people, the people that are not opening the emails and are not engaging with you. So implement these 4 flows if you really want to increase your competitive advantage. You will create more customer satisfaction, people will be more loyal to you, and you will be able to retain more of your customers. It will definitely help your brand also on the long term. Now, if you don't know where to start, or if you need help with setting up these flows, or you need some input on what to do next, feel free to schedule a call with us. In the link below, you can find a link. This is part of our 7-Figure Foundations program, where we will discuss all these flows and also provide the templates and how you can best set these up. So if you want to see if we can help you set this up, click the link below and schedule a call, and we'll just take it from there. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also hit subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future tips and strategies.